Yo brothers and sisters, it's your boy Erogun, and today I'm going to react to YouTube's darkest history. Leave a like, subscribe, let's get straight to the build.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern County Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive, a situation that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penosa deceased on the tracks, with the force of the impact being so strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area.
Damn.
At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather he had actually been sucked underneath as a result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident. But as police were conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently Horacio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, with there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off.
The thing is, those trains here, they're really fast, and they can just destroy you immediately, man. Damn, man, RP to that guy, man.
Off shortly after Horacio had been killed, and strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving. For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of business, but by this point he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers. The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was.
What thing?
It was a human leg.
Oh, what? The following video was recorded by one of the construction workers at the scene.
For some inexplicable
Wait. Is he holding the leg? He just wait, hold on. What? Just holding the leg so casually, like what?
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horacio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now leaving that.
Wait. So the guy that is talking to the guy with that is holding the leg. Does he not find it a bit strange? He's holding the leg. Is he not gonna like call the police? Does that guy know this person, this construction worker, or something? Maybe.
A leg
But
on the
that's weird,
sidewalk
man.
of a nearby road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next. Though that was something that even the wildest
Why does he want the leg so bad? Like the flip, like why do you need the leg?
Nations could have never predicted.
No, he's a cannibal. He's a cannibal. He's eating the leg. Yo! He's eating the leg. He's a cannibal.
As the man looked down at the leg and began eating it,
Oh!
the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached. But it was obvious to everyone.
He's chatting crap. Why are you eating the leg then if we're gonna take it to the hospital? Chatting crap, bro.
Everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs, with the officers having to go as far as to prove it to him by making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest.
What an animal.
His name was Rosendo Tejas, a 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horacio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time, where he would first witness the accident, and then, for some unknown reason, take Horacio's leg and start eating it.
Why are you gonna take someone's leg, yeah, and you want to eat it? I know you're homeless, yeah, But you don't have to be that homeless to eat someone's leg like that. Come on, man. Really, man? Like, can you not ask someone to, like, buy you something? Like, come on, man. But in a leg. I know that person's really hungry, but you're really that hungry of eating someone's leg? Come on, man. That's not good, man.
It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains, and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case to an end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Halloween should not include mischief.
That look is scaring me. I don't know, is that an intro? Yo, that look is scaring me.
It was just past 10 p.m. Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment, 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone to record a video of herself dancing. For her, this was a meditative practice, a way of unwinding after a long, stressful day, and to truly feel at peace. But that day, fate had other plans. As Hannah was dancing, something off-camera caused her to stop dead in her tracks and yell, "Who are you?" It was a man whom Hannah had standing in the doorway of her balcony, which, again, was on the 2nd floor, meaning that man had climbed up, cracked open the door, and was now standing in her home staring at her, quietly muttering nonsensically with a big grin on his face.
Who are you? Who are you? Please get out.
Hannah stopped the music and again asked, "Who are you?" To which the man responded by saying,
Please get out. No, please get out. Yes.
But her demeanor and the panic in her voice made it all too clear that this was far from the case.
Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now.
She started to make her way over to her phone and then towards the front door. All the while, the man kept calmly insisting that they be friends, but Hannah was having none of it.
Please get out of my apartment right now.
Opening her front door and, in the process,
Get out. Get out.
pointing the camera directly at the intruder.
Oh my days, man. That is scary, fam. Look at the way he's just standing there, man. The flip. Yo, it's making me have goosebumps in my legs, man. The flip.
Giving us our first and only glimpse of the man, as he's standing still in the balcony doorway. And with her front door now open, she yelled at him to get out, loud enough for the neighbors to hear.
Get out.
Why is he not going? Leave. No, that's weird.
Which finally caused the man to retreat. As it turns out, Hannah did actually know who this man was, at least vaguely, as he lived in the same apartment complex, but he never actually spoke to her. He would always just stare and smile, making it apparent that he had some sort of sick interest in her.
No, he's not well.
As for why he entered her home that night, it's fairly obvious that his intentions were incredibly sinister, with Hannah recalling that during the entire experience, his hands never left his hoodie pocket, making her wonder if he was holding onto some sort of weapon that he may have been planning to use on her. But thankfully, because of her swift reaction, we'll never truly know what he had planned that night. Days after the incident, police would arrest 36-year-old Angel Moses Rodriguez Gomez and charge him with stalking, second-degree assault, third and fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. But surprisingly, shortly after his arrest, they allowed him to walk free on bail.
No.
And given that he lived in the same apartment complex as him,
Are you mad? They're fools for that.
and clearly knew where she lived, this decision was incredibly controversial, with Hannah herself stating in an interview that, "I just don't think it's fair that he's walking freely right now, and I have to watch my back at every angle."
Yeah.
Thankfully, the court's decision would not lead to any further escalations in the case, and today Angel no longer lives in the country, but the footage is incredibly chilling nonetheless, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of home invasion videos late the other night. And here on YouTube, I came across countless unsettling examples. One such example comes from Saratov, Russia, and shows a woman moments after being awoken by the sound of knocking as she lay in bed in her apartment. It was around 4:30 a.m., which was already unusual enough, but things became downright horrifying for her when she realized that the knocking wasn't coming from the door, it was coming from the window.
Hey, don't open the door!
Outside of her window was a man, banging his head against the glass over and over again. And equally as disturbing, this woman's unit wasn't on the first floor. She was 2 stories up, and she didn't have a balcony. Across the street, a neighbor filmed the incident as it happened, showing us that the man was standing on one of the building's gas pipes while he continued to strike the window.
He's not okay. He's not okay. He probably just snot a crack, or I don't know what he used here, boy. He is not okay, literally. But that gave me chills. I can't lie. When he was just looking at that woman, I don't know why she had to just open the window. I don't know why she had to open the curtain, man. I was like, yo, man, give me chills.
Eventually, his hits grew so forceful that the glass started to break, and his head began bleeding profusely, finally leading to the man stopping, but not in the pursuit of entering the home. As he instead climbed to a different window where he attempted to peel it open with his fingers. But by this point, police had already arrived on the scene, and eventually the man would be forced down and placed under arrest. When looking for an explanation as to why this man was doing
he was planning to kill her.
This, it appears that he was under the influence of bath salts during the ordeal. But aside from this, I couldn't find any other information about the man's identity, or whatever became of him. But I was able to find that this clip doesn't tell the entire story, as the woman behind the camera actually spoke to a local reporter and provided additional context to the ordeal, which only made the story more terrifying. At first, he knocked with his hands. Then he began to peck at me at the window with his head for an hour and a half without stopping. After that, he started shouting my name to the whole yard. He was foaming at the mouth. His whole face was covered in blood, and he shouted that he wanted to talk to me, and he needed me. But the most terrifying part of the statement being that she had no idea who this man was, or how he could have even known her name. The idea of both of these intruder videos featuring people whom the victims had never even spoken to makes them especially unsettling, as it shows that you really never know who's watching and might be obsessing over you. But incidents like this can be equally as chilling when the intruder is someone that you do know. Mohammed Amana was a 26-year-old man living in Orrefors, Sweden, and had been dating a woman named Maria. But after several run-ins with the law, Mohammed's lifestyle just became too much for her, and she eventually decided to end the relationship. This caused Mohammed to become enraged, an emotion that was only further heightened when he discovered that she was staying with a male friend of theirs. And on the 25th of May, he would show up at his doorstep and ask to speak to Maria. Inside, the male friend and Maria both refused to let him in and told him to leave, and for a moment he did, though only temporarily, as he would return minutes later, this time armed with a ladder. And noticing what he was trying to do, the homeowner began recording on his cell phone.
En stege. Okay.
The man behind the camera asks, "What are you doing? Are you going to fight me?" To which Mohammed said no, he just wanted to speak to Maria. As he said this, his demeanor was unsettlingly calm, as he continues making his way up the ladder.
Mohammed, du kommer inte upp här. Du kommer inte in I mitt hem. Du kommer inte in I mitt hem, Mohammed.
With his demeanor being so calm that the cameraman couldn't tell if Mohammed was a threat or not, though it wouldn't take long for him to get his answer.
Du kommer inte in I mitt hem.
Oh my goodness me.
In an instant, Mohammed struck the cameraman, causing him to retreat into his room, closing the sliding glass door just in time for Mohammed to step on the balcony and brandish a large kitchen.
Ah!
Såg ni det? Och han krossar glaset med en sten.
Oh my goodness!
Still dazed by the attack, the man holding the camera retreated even further into the house, while Maria had already run into the bathroom and locked the door behind her, a door that Mohammed would quickly rush over to.
Släpp in mig på dass, han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria. Mohammed, du. Mohammed, du hörde mig redan.
And desperately tried to open, even tried to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was the only thing standing in the way of what he was there to do. What exactly that was is unknown, as police would manage to arrive on the scene within minutes of this footage being taken, where they would arrest Mohammed.
But what is the
before
reason
he was
why he wants to kill her though? Like, what? Like, did she just break up with him or something? And then he decided like, oh, let me just kill this woman.
able to get to Maria, but it's clear based on the fact that he had a weapon on him and his desperate attempt to breach the house that he didn't just want to have a conversation. In the end, the man filming was left with only minor cuts. Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden, leaving us with 3 haunting videos, 2 years in prison as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden, leaving us with...
That's not enough, man. 2 years in prison, that's not enough either, fam. It should be life.
3 haunting videos of 3 disturbed intruders whose true intentions will thankfully never be known.
Noah.
Live. Trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpone would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to a self-titled channel on October 29th, 2015, titling it 102915, Video Blog Number 1, and introducing himself to the platform with a simple "Hello World" in the description.
No, but I did want to dissect just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from for 10 years at least, in his family, 2 kids.
In the video, Harpone paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to look at 15 minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
I've been waiting, and haven't heard anything, so I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was, let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring vlog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be me with video camera, and that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
But before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled, "Is My Dad in a Cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpone loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. Harpone goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said, and the more he typed, the more angry he got. And the more angry he got, critiquing everything that he... Despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpone goes through it point by point, critiquing...
My theory is that Pastor Bill Johnson is a satanist, intentionally keeping fundamental knowledge from you with the express purpose of controlling your mind and keeping you unaware of the truth of your own sovereignty.
Everything that he said, and the more he typed, the more angry...
The whole life matters and waiting all day for an effing miracle to change that is dumb and ignorant, and in fact, effing impossible. This man is poisoning your mind and confusing it.
He got, and the more angry he got.
He hates you at this point, though, mostly because you're begging for it anyway, like spineless vegetables that refuse to admit they have any power to come to their own understanding. Vegetables have an excuse. You are cowards. He knows this and plays right to it. Draws your attention to it and then obliterates it and gets you to submit.
The more nonsensical his words became. I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world. Peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start. However, there would never be a video blog number 2, as just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Oh.
Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency? Repeat that one more time for me and make sure I'm correct.
Well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there's a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It's black, and it had a strap around it. He's walking up to doors and stuff.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in Colorado Springs, as she watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor.
And then I seen that he walked into the building, and the glass window of that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know I don't know if it's a fake gun, BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she watched him enter a nearby business, where one of the windows appeared to have been broken. She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but she was convinced that Noah was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession, seemed to be the only logical conclusion. However, this concern wasn't felt by everyone.
Okay. And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes,
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it, but of course having those gas cans, it does seem pretty suspicious, so we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the
Must have
window's
burned
broken
that
to that
church.
business downstairs, so.
Right, and you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes.
And are you or anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
As the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that, the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene, an officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next. 4 minutes after her call, 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again, only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I just called a few minutes ago and the guy came back out and he fired a gun at somebody and he's laying on the street dead. Oh my God. He sent an ambulance too.
Naomi's worst fears had come true, as she frantically told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just shot and killed someone outside of her home.
Oh my God.
Okay, calm down, okay? Stay with me. I'm just putting that into the call. Is anyone in immediate danger?
No, that I can see. No.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need the suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic,
He's
Asian?
white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
I think, there's people outside that might be in danger up on Platt. Oh, I just heard another gun fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
Yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Is anyone in immediate danger?
Only people up on Platte, maybe.
All right, I am sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
It was only then that the operator would tell Naomi that police and medical personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene, but by this point, it was far too late. In the moments after Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpan would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline, though this, however, failed and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood, and after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot, to which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly. With Andrew Myers,
He just killed an innocent man, just riding his bike, man. And all the guy was telling him, please don't shoot. And this fool Noah decided to just shoot him. People like that, people like Noah, deserves to be in jail for life, man.
being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street, where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center, where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addictions. And upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Galella and Jennifer Vasquez. Noah walked for over a mile after this before the police finally caught up with him. And when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout. When the smoke cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree.
Good.
The investigation that followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were all total strangers, leaving the question, why had he done it?
Yeah.
Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act. But looking at his final and only posts online, Noah was clearly very angry and seemed to be mentally unwell, which was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder. But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killings, and it was clearly not meant to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue, yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously. Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started the call.
I don't know why she wasn't taking Naomi's call seriously. Literally, why? Like, she literally saw what's happening. You're not really taking her seriously, I think.
Which would have been more than enough time for police to intervene. But instead, Noah was given all the time he needed to end 3 innocent lives. It wasn't an attraction for the faint of heart. Standing over 1,300 feet above the ground, the Deogar Ropeway was built to take tourists up and down the Trikut Mountain in Jharkhand, India. It was the tallest cableway in the entire country, offering an unparalleled view of Deogar and the picturesque landscape around it. Because of this, videos have long since been posted on YouTube showing just how dramatic of a ride this truly is, with one such video being recorded on April 10th, 2022. That day, a woman and her family had been filming their adventure to the Trikut Mountain, and were now filming a first-person view of the descent back down. It wasn't the kind of place.
Hey, yo. I swear, yo, why did I thought that it was gonna, like, snap for a second? For a second, I thought it was gonna snap.
Is for anyone with a fear of heights, and the loud sounds of the car passing the support towers only added to the anxiety of the trip. But the group filming this all remained relatively calm, quietly conversing to themselves, seemingly unfazed by the spectacular height. Even enjoying it, a feeling that wouldn't last.
Oh no.
Huh?
any warning, the car was met with a massive force, sending the occupants and the camera to the floor, causing the footage to go dark. In that moment, one of the ropeway's axles had dislodged, causing a failure on the pulley system, which resulted in 2 cars crashing into each other, and the rest coming to a sudden and violent halt. The impact was brutal, but somewhat surprisingly, the footage continued. Showing just enough to reveal that the ropeway and the cabin these people were in were both still intact, before the recording came to an end. This group had survived the impact, but the nightmare was far from over. News of the collision quickly spread throughout the region, leading to the scene being flooded with rescuers and news crews alike, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, and the initial prognosis was grim. In the impact, 1 man in a separate car had been killed, and many others were left injured. And making matters worse, due to the broken axle, the ropeway was now no longer operational, meaning that the 70-plus people spread throughout the various cars were now stuck, some of whom were still suspended over 1,000 feet in the air. It was going to be an incredibly difficult rescue operation.
That's scary. Imagine if someone's scared of heights here. I'm a little bit scared of heights here, but hey, looking down. Anxiety time.
Just given the height of the ropeway alone. And ultimately, it was determined that the Indian Air Force would utilize their special top-of-the-line helicopters to fly over the cars and lower down ropes with harnesses attached to them for survivors, who then would strap themselves in and be hoisted up to the helicopter above using an electronic winch. It took hours for them to even make their first attempt, before finally trying their approach on a middle-aged man, who slid on his rescue strap and was then slowly pulled up towards safety. The footage of this is horrifying. These people were already over 1,000 feet in the air when their cars got stuck, and now they were being lifted even higher, tethered only by a single rope and a safety harness. Worst of all, it was a particularly windy day, which was made worse by the swirling of the helicopter blades, a combination that caused the man to start swinging wildly from side to side as he hung onto the rope for
That's
dear
also
life.
dangerous as well.
It was a grueling journey up, but finally the man reached the aircraft, and with safety just a few feet away, he instinctively reached his arms above his head in an attempt to grab onto the helicopter, a decision that would have disastrous effects. As he did so, his harness slid upwards and was pulled over his shoulders, and then over his arms, before eventually landing in his hands, meaning the only thing left holding him up was his own grip, as he clung to the now useless harness.
Someone not gonna help him.
For a full minute he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in.
Yeah.
But before they got the chance, the man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself. But by this point, his strength was gone, and seconds later, his grip would fail for good. Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly. For those waiting to be rescued, the sight was especially horrific, as they watched the man who they thought had made it to safety fall to the ground right in front of them. The fear they must have felt knowing that soon it would be their turn is unimaginable. After this, the rescue crews began making tweaks to their operation, which started to lead to a few attempts going off without a hitch. But the entire process was incredibly slow, as a full 24 hours would pass before 60-year-old Shubha Devi would finally get her chance to be removed from the car. And as she started her ascent up to the helicopter, the wind also caused her to start swinging wildly. So wildly, in fact, that the winch used to lift her suddenly stopped working, leaving her hanging there, only moving side to side rather than up towards safety. As she hung there, rescuers on the helicopter frantically tried to figure out what the problem with the winch was. But before they could ever get their answer, the rope suddenly snapped, causing her to free fall to the ground below. It came without any sort of warning, and from what I could find online, there isn't a definitive answer as to how this happened, but either way, it resulted in Shula's tragic death. It took a total of 48 hours for the last of the survivors to be rescued and finally brought to safety, an unimaginable amount of time in an unimaginable position, with survivors having to watch two people fall to their deaths before them, unsure if they too were going to meet the same fate. Since its release, the footage has sparked some debate online, as the media actually hailed this as an impressive and even successful rescue operation for the Indian Air Force, while others have hit back on this, as both incidents seem to have been entirely preventable, with more people dying from the rescue than the accident itself, though ultimately there were no repercussions for the rescue crew, with the only punishments being dished out to the operating company DRIL, which was accused of not properly maintaining the ropeway and not following proper safety
Erogun ropeway accident was a disaster waiting to happen. Here's why.
protocols. It was even alleged that when the initial crash happened, the people operating the ropeway at the time actually fled the scene and never even called authorities, but I'm not sure if this was ever actually proven. DRIL was fined over $1 million and has since been blacklisted from operating ropeways for 5 years, while the families of the deceased were given a...
They're using those ropeways for 5 years. No wonder those ropeways are not good. Yeah, man, I can't lie, they deserve to get fined, man.
around $33,000 in compensation. Currently, there are plans to repair and reopen the ropeway, though at this point, no official date has been given for the reopening.
No official dates have been
At this point, no official date has been given for the reopening.
They shouldn't open it. Literally, this is dangerous. It's very dangerous. No, man. It's not for the people here that are scared of heights. Literally, man. It's not good. It's not for them, man. Literally, man. Nah, man. Damn. Shout out to Nick Crowley. Can't lie. Hey. The part that gave me chills was the people that are like the watchers. The one that was just watching that woman just dancing, that one gave me the chills, I can't lie. Also, the one that was just banging his head, that one gave me chills as well, man, I can't lie. I was like, yo, don't open the window, and then she opened it, and then like, that man was just looking at that woman, like, just coming to get her. And the other part, yeah, that is just so disgusting, yeah, was when that homeless guy, yeah, was just eating the leg. Like, yo, that is cannibalism right there. So guys, what do you think? Which one gave you the chills? Was it the watchers? This one? The ropeway incident? Is it the man that was just eating the leg? Let me know. Let me know, guys. That's the end of the video. Subscribe if you need. Go to 5,000 subscribers. Share this to everyone. And also people, stay blessed, stay safe, keeping active, what's blind. And also people, I love you.